What's going on, champs and champions? It's FireMonkey here, and let's face it, Fortnite has a lot of augments, and of course they have a lot of bugs that come along with those augments, such as things that cause them to get completely disabled. I mean, if we go in the game right now, go to the Augments tab, and we look at all of these, which I have all 27 unlocked and equipped from before, we have some interesting ones which you are no longer able to get normally. These include things such as, if I can actually find it here, does it even show up anymore? I'm not for sure, but there was an augment, yeah, it's this one right here, Shotgun Striker, where shotguns would give siphon on hits against players. That one has been completely disabled, but believe it or not, despite it being disabled, there is still a way for you to get it in game. Now, I will say this right off the start of the video, the only way you'll be able to actually use this augment during a match is if you've never obtained it before, right? So if you've never actually used this augment before, and that means, you know, you've never claimed it for yourself. If you've borrowed it from someone, you can still technically do this, but if you've never used the augment before, ever since it's been released, there is still the chance that at least for one match you will be able to find this augment in your augment selector and use it. And I just kind of want to talk about what's going on here and why this isn't even a glitch, but something that appears to be intended by Epic Games. So as you guys know, the augment system is actually a collections page type thing. The collections page is for characters. We used to have the fishing one as well, but we just kind of have our own tab for augments. We have our own tab for characters right now, and that's kind of how it goes. But whenever they disable an augment, you might not be able to actually complete your collection during that update because it just seems you're getting super unlucky, right? It never shows up for you, and as the normal player, it could probably get annoying, right? You're sitting there, you're trying to complete that collection book, but no matter what you do, you're unable to just because of the fact that Epic Games disabled something you weren't aware they disabled, and it caused this whole entire situation where you're just over here grinding out games, playing non-stop, trying to find that augment you need, only to end up disappointed every time. And because of that, Epic Games has actually made it, or at least they had a bug that they kind of like announced as an official feature, where if they've disabled an augment, such as the Shotgun Siphon one, which has a bug right now, you are still able to get it in a game. So what happened to my aim there? That was weird, okay, but you are still able to get it in a game, and when you unlock it for that match, you can use it like it normally was, despite it being disabled. Now, after you've unlocked it and everything, you won't be able to use it in future matches until it gets re-enabled for everyone to use, but they still allow you to actually discover that the augment at least exists. Which in a way, I believe is kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because if you're one person who actually knows about why an augment was disabled, you might be able to take advantage of it for a match you're playing and give yourself an unfair advantage. However, knowing that the massive majority of people who are in the Fortnite community aren't actively following, you know, like content creators who talk about exploits or bugs or whatever, and aren't actively following leakers who report all the news and everything else going on with Fortnite, the odds of someone who haven't already collected the augment, collecting it and using it to abuse a bug for that one match that they have it is super unlikely, because they'll probably just see it, and if they know anything, if they follow like the Fortnite status Twitter account or anything, the most they'll probably think is, oh, this augment was supposed to be disabled, maybe it got re-enabled or something like that. And I've actually had people who follow me on Twitter telling me, hey, FireMonkey, this augment's been re-enabled, when no, it's just the way their system works. So in a way, it's like, yeah, this could be used for an exploit, especially with Shotgun Siphon, because if you don't know why that one got disabled recently, you could shoot your teammates with a shotgun while having it, and it would give you shield and health and all that stuff back, so you basically just had infinite health, as long as you had a teammate nearby and some shotgun ammo. But of course, you know, the odds of someone actually finding that augment in a match that hasn't heard, well, it has heard about the glitch, is very low, and especially someone who might even not be able to use the glitch, right? Because it's like, hey, you might be finding this in a solo match or something, you just wouldn't be really thinking that much about the exploit and stuff at that point, because the only thing you've really had on the back of your mind was it is disabled. Now, it is something very interesting to see how they can technically disable but not disable things, where it's like, hey, this part of it's disabled, however, for people who have never used this before in the history of their Fortnite account, they are still able to use it for one match, so they are still able to get the benefit of it, even if they're unaware of it originally being disabled. It's just kind of like, hey, after you get it this one match, it just goes into the void, becomes a super rare entity that you've never heard of before. And speaking of augments, I guess there's a little bit of a bonus topic for you guys. Something I had complained about in the previous update was how when you had the borrow augment system, there was no way to actually earn that augment yourself, right? You were no longer able to actually gain the augment normally or anything like that. However, with the most recent game update, that has been changed. The borrow system will not make it so you've claimed the augment and you can discover it on your own or whatever using your normal matches. However, there is an interesting bug going on here because they enabled it so even if you have an augment that you borrowed from someone someone else, you can still discover that augment in the same match. And because of this, it means you could have claimed an augment from someone, right? So let's say, for example, I don't know, let's just go ahead and give a random example here. If we look at the augments we have, let's say I had Bush Warrior, you know, the thing that helps me regenerate health and partial shields whenever I have it equipped. I could equip that by borrowing it from insert username 27.5 here, and then I can also, in the same augment rotation, find the augment again as a unused, you know, hey, this is a newly discovered one, and it adds for some very interesting glitchiness, because it allows you to basically have one augment claimed twice. So technically, especially with like the armory ones where you get a weapon that isn't in the game, so if we go over here, go to the combat area, and we look at stuff, especially if you get like tactical armory to get the rare tactical AR and combat shotgun, you could get that once by borrowing it from someone, discover it in the same match, and be able to claim 2 tactical ARs and shotguns just from finding the augment from your friend and getting it at the same time. So it adds this weird limbo glitch effect where it's like they fixed the bug I was talking about in the previous video, right? They made the system better, and that's a nice thing to see, so you know it incentivizes you to play with friends now, but they also kind of made it weirder because now you can get 2 of the exact same augments, and most of the time it's pretty useless, right? If you get 2 of the same augments and you just get the perfect timing or whatever, it's not like you're going to have a massive benefit, but there is the odd chance that you end up getting 2 augments that could be very interesting to see combined, and it would be interesting to see if any specific augment might stack on one another, right? Personally, based on how the augments are coded, I don't think they would, but it would be interesting to see if you had, like, you know, 2 of the bush augment, and then you go in a bush, and then your health just goes all the way through the roof just because of the fact that, you know, it's like, hey, you had 2 of these, so technically it should be double the effect, right? Which I, of course, don't think's the case, but you know, it is just something very interesting to theorize about. But I would love to hear, what do you guys think about the current augment system in Fortnite? And if you could put your own augment in the game, what would it be named and what would it be themed around? Would it be something where it gives you just some normal, like, random wacky effect that is just pointless to the main game, such as you randomly activate taco time? Or would it be something where you might get, like, bars, more bars from eliminating opponents or something like that? You know, I'm just curious what everyone thinks, but with that said, my name's FireMonkey, and I will see you champs and champettes next time with another YouTube video after we eliminate some bots in this bot lobby. Let's just go ahead and, you know, look around here. I don't know why my frames are dropping, but hopefully the video recording's fine. Do we have any more bots nearby? Yeah, right over there. Okay, let's get rid of the wolf, and then I just feel like we gotta, you know, we gotta do a little bit of some shotgunning, and then let's pickaxe them. There we go. The video's over now. That's all I have to say. Abrupt ending right